90,000 cameras, exposed to the open internet, no username, no password, no encryption. Anyone on Earth could watch. And nobody told you they were there in the first place. Right now, a company called Flock Safety operates nearly 90,000 AI-powered surveillance cameras across the United States. They scan 20 billion license plates every single month. They track where you drive, when you drive, and who you're driving with. And in December of last year, security researchers discovered that dozens of these cameras were live streaming directly to the open internet for anyone to see. So how did a single private company build the largest vehicle surveillance network in American history, get a $7.5 billion valuation, and then forget to lock the front door? To understand how we got here, you need to know the story. Flock Safety was founded in Atlanta in 2017. The pitch was simple and it was smart. Help neighborhoods and police departments solve crimes faster by installing automated license plate readers that use artificial intelligence to scan every vehicle that passes. Local cops loved it, homeowner associations loved it, and within a few years, Flock had quietly spread to over 5,000 law enforcement agencies across 49 states, running more than 7,000 surveillance networks. But here's what they didn't advertise. Flock's system isn't just reading plates, it's building a database. Every time your car passes one of their cameras, your plate is logged, time-stamped, and uploaded to a centralized cloud server. Over time, that data paints a picture, not just of where you went on Tuesday, but of your entire life. Where you work, where you worship, who you visit at night, where you park every weekend. The Supreme Court itself, in Carpenter versus United States, said this kind of tracking provides an intimate window into a person's life, revealing not only his particular movements, but through them his familial, political, professional, religious, and sexual associations. That was the court's ruling about cell phone location data. License plate readers produced the same result. Now here's where it gets really interesting. This system wasn't built with taxpayer money. It was built with venture capital. Andreessen Horowitz led Flock's latest funding round, $275 million, at a $7.5 billion valuation. Founders Fund invested. Kleiner Perkins, Tiger Global, Y Combinator backed them from the start. By 2025, Flock was pulling in over $300 million a year in recurring revenue, growing 70% year over year. A private surveillance company, valued higher than most defense contractors, funded by Silicon Valley's biggest names, tracking your car across the entire country, and operating with almost zero regulatory oversight. Because here's the part they really don't want you to think about. Flock incentivizes maximum data sharing through a reciprocal system. If your local police department shares its Flock data nationally, it gets access to the entire nationwide database. That means an officer in Florida can search for your plate and track your movements in Massachusetts. A Texas Ranger can see where you drove in California. No warrant, no probable cause, no judicial oversight of any kind. And the ACLU found that in a single 30-day audit of one network, there were over 450,000 searches of the nationwide database. 450,000 in 1 month on one network. Multiply that across 7,000 networks, and the scale of warrantless surveillance becomes almost incomprehensible. But it gets worse. Records obtained by 404 Media showed that many of these searches were carried out by local officers on behalf of ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement. Flock's own data was being funneled into federal deportation operations. In Texas, an officer used a Flock system to conduct a nationwide search for a woman suspected of having a self-administered abortion. He searched for, and these are the actual search terms, had an abortion, search for female. That is what this technology is being used for. Not just catching car thieves, tracking women across state lines, tracking immigrants for deportation, tracking anyone who moves through a country that told them they were free. And if that's what we know about, imagine what we don't. And then came December 2025. A technologist named Ben Jordan and a security researcher named John Gaines independently discovered something alarming. Flock had left at least 67 of its newest cameras, the Condor model, exposed to the open internet. No authentication whatsoever. Anyone with an internet connection could watch live feeds, download 30 days of archived footage, change camera settings, even delete recordings. Jordan said, immediately, we were just without any username, without any password, seeing everything from playgrounds to parking lots with people Christmas shopping. Playgrounds, unattended children, streamed live to anyone on Earth. That's not a hypothetical privacy risk. That is a catastrophic security failure by a company entrusted with surveillance infrastructure across the entire country. Flock called it a limited misconfiguration on a very small number of devices. They said it was promptly corrected. But cities across the country weren't buying it. Mountain View, California shut down its Flock cameras after an audit revealed the ATF, the Air Force, and the GSA Inspector General had all accessed its local surveillance data without authorization. At least 30 localities have now deactivated their Flock cameras or canceled their contracts entirely. And some people aren't waiting for city councils to act. Across at least 5 states, activists have physically torn down Flock cameras. In Virginia alone, one person destroyed 13 of them. An activist named Will Freeman launched the Flock and mapped over 76,000 license plate readers. And Flock's response, CEO Garrett Langley called the Flock a terroristic organization. He compared them to Antifa, a CEO of a $7.5 billion surveillance company, calling transparency activists terrorists for mapping cameras on public streets. And it doesn't stop at Flock. Just this month, FBI Director Kash Patel confirmed to lawmakers that the Bureau is actively purchasing location data to track Americans without a warrant. Senator Ron Wyden asked him directly if he would commit to stopping the practice. Patel declined. He said the FBI uses all tools available. Think about that for a moment. 90,000 cameras tracking 20 billion plates a month. A private company selling that data to 5,000 police departments who share it nationally and funnel it to federal agencies. The FBI buying your location data on the open market, no warrant anywhere in the chain, and the company responsible for all of it couldn't even remember to put a password on their cameras. This isn't a glitch, this is the architecture. Surveillance was never designed to be accountable, because accountability would make it less effective. The entire model depends on you not knowing. Not knowing the cameras are there, not knowing who's searching for your plate, not knowing that your movements are being cataloged, sold, and shared across a network that stretches from your local police precinct to a federal deportation office. But now you know, and knowing changes everything. Because right now, people are fighting back. Cities are canceling contracts. Lawyers are filing lawsuits. The EFF and the ACLU are challenging warrantless plate surveillance in courts across the country. Citizens are literally pulling cameras off of poles. The question isn't whether you're being watched. You are. The question is whether you're going to accept it. That's not safety, that's control. And the moment you understand the difference, you stop being a subject of the system, and you start being someone it can't ignore. Share this with someone who still thinks they have nothing to hide. Because what's being tracked isn't crime, it's movement, it's freedom. And right now, someone is watching.